Time being 7 p.m., we are convened in open session. Town Council to convene into open session and consider actions, if any, on items discussed in closed session. No action taken. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States. Gentlemen, any public participation? Okay. Appointed representative liaison reports. Denton County Emergency Services, Jim Strange. Well, we did give you 2.5 seconds. Do you want 3?
Jim, don't forget to turn on your microphone when you're up there.
Okay, guys. Good evening. This was a bit of a different meeting I went to. It was actually a Zoom meeting. I don't know what those are, right? It happened on I'm trying to get on December 16th. It was a Zoom meeting because most of the fire personnel was out at a fire on the scene. So between all the flashing lights and all the sirens, we were trying to have this meeting, or at least Jim Carter was, and it was there was some distraction. Anyway, it's a different type meeting. Each of the board members had their own specific responsibilities and oversight issues that they worked on. They mainly covered the overall business of the ESD. We got some brief information from the fire chief, which it's our production numbers. The commissioner's office gave an overview in regards to COVID availability for frontliners. Of course, all this information is going to take. They went over a fire engine Santa report. Y'all know more about that, right? Santa.
Jim, by your microphone, please.
Do what?
By your microphone, please.
Am I by it now?
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. Anyway, I understand Santa came to see Jeff, right?
That's why I have the beard.
Oh, I didn't realize it was you. They projected 50,000 people were touched throughout our differing and varying communities. So that's quite a good number. They serviced 500 children from the Gifted Angel Tree, or 500 children were gifted from the Angel Tree. And for the month, we had a total of, and if you just want to poke through when you have time, no, you don't have to right now. But in regard to incidents that occurred, we had 200 for the month of November. I know it's January, but it's always a month behind. No major fires for the month. Average time out the door is 1 minute, 7 seconds. That's a 4-second improvement. And to the arrival to the site is 7 minutes, 13 seconds with a 7-second missing. And we had 6 medical emergencies. A total of 17 services provided for our community. It ended with an executive session where everybody's asked to get off the phone. Of course, we do that here too. And next meeting is January the 20th. But kind of unique. I don't even know if I'm invited or not, Bill, but I guess I am. I'm going to try to get in again. I had to call to get in on this one, but no other community was there, just Martinville. So we were represented.
You're always invited.
I was going to say we were represented well. And are we on the 2018 building code, or are we still back on 15, or are we on 18?
We're working on updating it.
Okay, because assistant chief was asking and he wanted to come visit with the city, and I said, no problem, but if we'll be, agreeable to anything, especially being up to date.
We're in conversations with.
Okay, good deal. And that's it. Sorry for the.
Oh, Jim, it was perfect. So, Jim, when I asked before on COVID, they said only the EMS qualified individual. How are all the firefighters gotten COVID shots?
Have they caught COVID?
No, have they received the vaccine?
I believe they have. Well, not at this time, but I believe they have now.
Okay.
During this time, I didn't read this, Mayor, but there were 3 people still out with it. One of their biggest opportunities right now is overtime pay because of all the illnesses going on. And also the chief was out with it, the active case. So it hit them pretty hard. As we mentioned the time before last when we visited, if you were out and you came in direct contact, somebody was confirmed COVID, they would tell them to go aside for a certain number of days. But it's actually hitting some of them, or quite a few of them. So we're like $48,000. They're $48,000 over budget. Again, they didn't touch on specific numbers. They just said where we're budget here.
Sure.
Yeah.
Very good. Hey, Jim, as always, thank you very much. Thanks for your support of the town, and thank you for your support of the ESD.
It's so much fun to come here. It's a pleasure. Thank y'all.
Thank you, Jim. Chief.
Mayor, council, staff, so your little graphs are there in front of you. Take a minute to look at it. I'll just kind of do some highlights. Everything went up a little bit. The self-initiated totals, which is officer-initiated totals, total 376, and that includes 148 of those were traffic stops. And of those 148, 98 were warnings, and 47 resulted in citation, and 3 others may have changed to motorist assist or something of that nature. That would leave 132 remainder for calls for service to generate some sort of report, which would bring the total to 508 in the month of December. December 2019 was 367. So it's a couple of. We had 4 crashes. They were all on 407 at some point. We had 2 at Razor, 1 at Lantana Trail, and 1 in the area of IT Neely. And there was something Councilman Traylor asked me last month about a found property, and that was a driver's license. Wasn't able to get that to you then, but that's what it was. Blue Santa went off good, thanks to Tammy and staff. There was 9 Bartonville families. If I'm reading this correctly, is that 28 children that were served? 10 kiddos from the school district considered foster or homeless. And then the blood drive, there were 30 spots, and we only were able to fill 13 of them. Not sure why, but that's how that ended up. So I did supply you with the LPR totals again for the month. You'll see I had to break it into 2 graphs because that's the way Excel wanted it. But it totaled 509,632, which is about what we had the last 30 days. You can kind of see their peaks and the lows. During Christmas, it kind of peaked down, went down quite a bit, but we were staying pretty consistent so far. And it's helped us on a couple of things in the last month, so working. Any questions? Sorry? Yes, we can.
So, yeah, did it lead to any arrests?
It did. 1 was a felony arrest. Won't get into what it was, but it was a felony arrest. So.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's not it. That could be very general. It's just how it's dispatched to us. So. Yeah, we're good. It's not necessarily terrorist threat. Yes.
So, on the Blue Santa, one is great job, Tammy and Chief, but again, fantastic. So I came in here and was looking at Tammy playing Mrs. Claus, and I mean, this place, the entire perimeter was covered with presents on that side. She had boxed them up, individual boxes that come and get at the bikes. I mean, it was absolutely phenomenally done. And then to top that off, Tutu's birthday on Sunday, which was phenomenally well done. I mean, again, what a neat event to have a 99-year-old citizen and to do that kind of event. I mean, let's face it, we're gonna get to do that for Clay, next month?
Well, I can tell you that besides what you guys see her do here, these are the things that she does that you really don't know that she does. So, I mean, we're just blessed for her to be doing this.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
It took all of us. It was fun.
Great. Well, thank you very much. Anything for Chief? Chief, thank you. Please.
Anyway, it was over and above and beyond, Danny, and I appreciate that. I know you go over and above and beyond. Thank you very much.
Well, and the stuff she does for others, that are homebound, helping with computers and whatnot. Again, it's all above and beyond. And no, it's not your job. It's way above and beyond. It's a care of this town that we greatly appreciate.
Mayor, in your agenda packet, we have the finance report. So a couple of notes. Again, December 2020 sales tax is continuing to perform strongly, up 20% compared to December of last year. Permit fee collections are also doing very well. They've been significantly higher this year compared to the previous year. They're currently over 50% of budgeted revenues already, and we're 3 months into the fiscal year, so that's doing great. You'll see that there's no development review fee revenues. There was no planning and zoning or board of adjustment items this month, so there was no revenues from those. And franchise fees were sent in late December, so those will not reflect until the January finance report. For animal control, there was 9 activities. Building permit report, you'll see, because the permit fee revenues were significantly higher, you'll see a lot of permits that were issued in December. 18 building permits, 14 food permits, and 22 contractor registrations. We didn't receive the engineer's report in time to include it in the agenda packet, but I'm not sure if he's on Zoom, but I did want to introduce Chris Hartke as our new point of contact for Tignall and Perkins. And so this month he's been helping us with the 2021 street project, grading and drainage plan reviews, and compiling the historical road constructions done from 1999 moving forward. And lastly, we've started to include the court monthly report for the month of December. So that's a new report that shows what we've been conducting for court. You'll see that there was 51 traffic citations issued this month. The town's portions of financial revenues related to court are reflected in fines, the technology fund, and the building security fund. The rest is a little bit more detailed. We have failure to appear, numbers, citations cleared, trials and hearings. You'll see 0 because those are continued to get postponed because of COVID. So please let me know if you have any questions.
Terrific. Thank you. Staff, any questions? Or council, any questions? Okay. Consent agenda. The consent agenda consists of non-controversial or housekeeping items required by law. Items may be approved with a single motion. Items may be removed from the consent agenda by any council member by making such request prior to a motion and vote on the consent agenda. Item number 1, consider approval of December 15th, 2020 regular meeting minutes. Item number 2, consider approval of a resolution of the Town Council of the Town of Bartonville ordering a general election to be held on May 1st, 2021 for the purposes of electing 3 council members, place 1, 3, and 5 for 2-year terms each, and providing for a joint services contract with Benton County. Council, do we have a motion? Do we have a second? All in favor? Thank you, council. Regular items. Discuss and consider approval of work order number 4 for SPI Asphalt LLC for miscellaneous pavement repairs, miscellaneous concrete joint sealing, West Jeter Road construction and center line striping, Latigo Lane tree trimming, Stonewood culvert replacement, and McMakin Road shoulder backfill. and authorize the town administrator to execute same on behalf of the town.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll give a short summary. So this is the same, or almost the same list of items that has been presented to council previously. I believe the last time it was presented was in November or December. So last week, the town staff, Tignall and Perkins, Mayor Pro Tem, we met with SPI, the street vendor who performs this work, to go over the work that council had agreed on. And from discussions, the vendor SPI suggested that he would be willing to do a third method of reconstruction on West Jeter. You might remember that one of the items that was included in the work order was to do 400 feet of reconstruction on West Jeter, and 200 feet, or splitting that 400 feet in half, was going to be 2 different types of reconstruction. And so now this work order that's presented to you will add a third type of reconstruction, and that is concrete stabilization. Chris Hartke from Tignall and Perkins is here if you have any technical questions as to what that will do. But this is also a significant savings because SPI offered to do this for significant cost savings. They are going to subgrade it at their expense if the town pays for the asphalt. And so that's largely why this is here for your reconsideration, to add that third method of reconstruction.
So Chris or Mayor Pro Tem, can you go through the 3 methods that we're going to be testing in that area?
Yeah, let me jump in. First of all, Chris, welcome to the council.
Thank you.
So I love his background too. That's lifelike.
This is actually my family property up in northern Wisconsin. So
Very good.
that's why. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, one of the things that we talked about last meeting, guys, was that we were going to do those areas of 200 foot each, and we were going to do a geo web and a geo grid in those 2 sections. We've actually going to upgrade one of them, and I always get it confused if it's the geo web that's being upgraded. It's a new version of it's coming out. So we're going to get that, and may get that at a cost of free for that, and that's a possibility. But what we added to this was Tony asked that we go in and give him the opportunity to do his magic. He wanted to be able to show us that his new cement stabilization will perform as well or better than the grids will. And so he has done some work over in Saddlebrook, and they've performed fairly well, probably better than what we've seen in our last set of road improvements. So he also stepped up and said, as Sylvia mentioned, that he'll do all the stabilization, his cost, he would take care of it, as long as we do the asphalt on top of it, which I think we all estimated to be roughly $15,000. So that turns out to be about $3 a square foot for it to be stabilized and new surface put in right in the area of Jeter where it's the worst. I mean, it's heaving, it's alligatoring, it's doing everything in that area. The impact to us, though, is that we were already slightly over budget before we discussed doing that, because we have a spring sealant process that we were going to go do. And it was going to be, Sylvia, correct me if I'm wrong, 75,000, somewhere in that range?
Yeah, approximately.
So with the additional 15,000 for the asphalt and the sealing that we're going to be doing in the spring, we step over the amount of money that we have left over in the tax note. And so when we had this discussion, I said, let's bring it before the council and see if we can agree to pull money from somewhere, say the general fund, since our taxations are going to exceed what our projections were, to cover the difference, because the sealant is important. And everything else on that list that we have for the remainder of the tax note is all important. It's all in the need to do type list, not, well, let's think about it. So that's kind of where we are.
So what's the delta? I'm looking at the overall cost, but how much are we going over as compared with the tax note?
About $25,000.
Okay.
And that's assuming, so we're going to have to go out for bid for that sealant product. And that's assuming that it comes in at our estimation, which is 75,000.
Got it.
But also, Tony mentioned to us that the sealant that he had done on Broom and on Stonewood, that if we did that same sealant in these areas, he would be able to save us money on that. And the number was not specific, but it would be a cheaper than what we were anticipating on our current spring sealant.
Tony is the replacement for Gary. Gary retired.
No.
Tony is
Tony.
Oh, I'm
point
sorry.
of,
Tony's
the point of
a vendor.
contact, that
Sorry,
our
Chris.
street vendor.
That's okay.
Yeah, so he represents SPI, and SPI is who does our street work.
So Chris is replacing Gary. Yeah, Gary retired last month, given the street sign.
Yeah.
I
So,
will say that Gary is still working part-time here and helping out a lot still. So we actually spoke before this and updated the agenda and a couple other things for tonight's meeting as needed.
so Jeff, obviously, again, you've been our point on roads, spearheaded the effort to get, let's do some testing with those 3 different forms. Your recommendation on this, I'm assuming, is to get the $25,000 and stick with the plan?
You're on mute, Jeff.
Muted.
Jeff, you're
Jeff,
on mute.
you're on mute.
Still on mute.
Yeah, I know. You got to work your finger magic here. I don't know how I went on mute. Am I back now?
You are.
All right. So you know that I'm cheap basically, and I don't want to spend money unless it's absolutely necessary. And the key items are absolutely necessary. And for the money that we spent this last year, we will all say that we weren't tremendously thrilled with the overall outcome of those investments. And not to do these 3 options on Jeter, it just doesn't seem as though it would be a great opportunity to save a little money. It's not. We need to spend this money now and try to figure out a way so that when our next tax note comes around, we make a much wiser investment.
No, and I would 100% agree. Let's face it, this is what we've been discussing since we've all been in office. How do we do a better job with the roads? We've now taken the proactive step of doing some experimentation with some other options, see if we can get longer life, headed by the Mayor Pro Tem, and we're here. So I'm assuming we are a go. So I'm going to ask if do we have a motion?
Just real quick, Mayor
Please.
Pro Tem, just to clarify something. So this work order went ahead and took off the tree trimming at Latigo. We wanted to add that back on, correct?
Well, we were talking, okay, the tree treatment on Latigo, if anybody's been there, it takes up half the road, the trees, the bushes right out into the road there. And so the citizens literally drive on 40% of the road. We were going to pull it out of the budget and then pull it from our tree trimming budget that we have. That's where I thought we left it. Did you find that we had a challenge there?
No, just it's only $2,000, so it's not a significant amount.
So that was one of the options. Yeah. So we were looking to pull that item out of the tax note, have it come out of the budget item for tree trimming.
Perfect. Thank you. So do we have a motion to approve work order number 4?
I'll make a motion that we approve work item number.
Do we have a second? All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you, council. Any future agenda topics?
We
Okay.
might want to put on the agenda that we need to address our Zoom audio.
That would not be an agenda item. That would be a staff action.
Hey, staff action. Sorry.
There we go. We're good to go. Okay, great. Time being 7:24, we are adjourned. Thank you, council. Thank you, citizens.
Bye, guys.
Good seeing y'all. Y'all take care.
See you guys.
Be
Good night.
safe, Ed.
Take care, Ed.
Y'all too. Hope you heal up, Jeff.
I'm going to give it a good shot.
We'll see you.